y'all doing? So today I'm coming to you with a topic that several people have asked me about, and that is how to encourage someone or how to encourage yourself if you're struggling with loving yourself or with self-esteem issues or things like that. So I'm going to talk about that today. But if this is your first time coming to my channel, hey, how you doing? Thank you for checking out my videos, seeing what I'm all about. I hope that you'll find something that makes you laugh, encourages you, or just causes you to think. If you are returning, hey friend, I'm so glad that you are back as well. And I hope that you also have a good time today. So we're gonna jump right in. So I have a few people that I've mentored in the past, and not so much that I'm this expert mentor, but just because I was a kid who grew up with self-esteem issues. Did not love myself, darn near hated myself, didn't like how I looked, didn't like trying to relate to other people was extremely hard for me. And even in my adulthood, sometimes it's kind of hard. You kind of fall back into those patterns. But because of the lessons that I've learned, people have just asked me, like, how did you get through this? How did you get to this place? And not even so much asking me outright, but really coming to me for advice and different things like that. So some of the things that I learned, I want to share with you guys. So first things first, if you're trying to encourage someone who finds it difficult to just love and accept themselves, or if they have self-esteem issues or something like that, first step for me is to just accept them for where they are. So accepting and understanding, like, okay, this is the place they're in. I was there at this moment. And understanding, like, people can be there. So remembering where you came from. So I wasn't always like this confident person in front of the camera, like everything's great. There was times when it was hard for me to be even in a room with people and be okay. But through lessons and through years and learning and stuff like that, it has become a little easier for me. So just accepting people where they are. The second thing in this process of encouragement is to believe what they say they feel is real. That's like one of the biggest things in our communities, is kind of just believing that the person is suffering so much with fear, or the feeling of neglect, or the feeling of not being accepted, or whatever. And you have people who are so super strong. They've always been strong. It's hereditary, whatever. And they're able to just walk in themselves and be just be exceedingly great, and and it's not as easy for everyone. So accepting them for where they are and believing that what they say they feel is real. That doesn't mean that you have to say, okay, what they're feeling, this is it, they'll never be anywhere else. No, your job, if you're trying to encourage someone, is to just say, okay, here's where you are. I understand that this hurts you. I understand that you're afraid to be in this space. I understand that this social situation makes you uncomfortable, and that is okay. If you would like to change that, let's work that way. So believing them that is real, and it's not just it's not just in their head, or it's not just them being dramatic or whatever. Believe people for where they are. The next thing for me is, and this is there's such a fine line, having compassion for a person that struggles with acceptance, that struggles with self-esteem, and not sympathy. Having compassion and not sympathy. So to be compassionate is really an understanding. You feel upset for them that they're going through this, and there's something within you that would like to build into that or give into that to help it get better. For me, the difference between that and sympathy is like, woe is you, and kind of like this feeling of helplessness. But no, just be compassionate and understanding. That's what it is. Being understanding, being compassionate of where that person is in their journey to loving themselves. Again, I've always said, I will continue to say, loving yourself is a journey. Nobody has reached a point where it's like every day, all day, I love me, and I love my appearance. I love what I bring to the table. I love my gift. Like, there's never a moment where someone is completely perfect in that. So being compassionate and understanding of where a person is extremely important and encouraging, especially when they're struggling. You don't want to come across as the expert that is not hearing and validating in any situation. Next thing, and this is hard because this is causing you to work. So, being understanding and all of that, but also demonstrating good behaviors, demonstrating good habits. I have days where I am really, really just not in a headspace where I'm happy. And maybe I'm joyful, sure, but I'm just not happy, and that's okay. But, being able to demonstrate to people that you can have these days, but there's a way to bounce back from that. There's a way to bring yourself out of that. Just demonstrating good behaviors, that doesn't mean being perfect. That means being real. The reality of life is that you ebb and flow in your emotions. That's just how life works. So being able to be understanding and being, transparent about the fact that these things do happen. You'll be happy, you'll be good, you'll be feeling nice, looking great, and then you'll plummet. So it's kind of like, these things happen. But demonstrating good behaviors is another way that you can encourage people after understanding, what they're going through. Because you can preach to somebody all you want to. I can give you a good word. I can say, believe it. It's okay. You're great. You're beautiful. But if I am not then showing you that, showing you a practical example that this can actually work for you, then it's not going to work. Like, it's just not going, at least for me, it's not going to be relative. It's not going to be relatable because you're already there. You don't know what I'm going through. So just being able to demonstrate good behaviors that you've learned and be okay being transparent about those lessons, because it's not going to be perfect, and that is okay. The last thing for this one is to encourage people appropriately. And I put encourage appropriately on purpose because not everybody is encouraged the same way. Me personally, I like hugs. I like, words of affirmation. I love, things like that. Some people are not like that. Some people would rather you write them something. Write it down, encouraging them, a small note. Be encouraged, you're amazing, you're doing great today, something like that. Something physical. But not everybody is encouraged the same way. So you want to be careful that you encourage people the way that they receive it, and that's something that's going to help them. The whole purpose of you trying to encourage someone is to cater that to what is needed where they are. So in all things, do things appropriately. And I always definitely want to make sure that we're pushing things that are God-based and faith-based. So it's the absolute center of love is God. So the best way that you can encourage someone is the way that Christ encouraged us, through love. Whatever love that you can give, encourage people just to be the best that they can be, and never shy away from being encouraging. Now, if someone is not receptive, if someone did not come to you for encouragement, or someone did not come to you for help, or tell you that they're struggling with something, it's not your job to try to fix it either. So let's, that's a balance. But if you're trying to encourage someone, that's awesome. As I always say, please remember to love God, because He is the source of real love. Remember to love yourself and appreciate who God created you to be. And remember to love other people, because that is the way that your world continues to go around. I love you so very much. Bye.